Welcome back, lords and ladies. KingRayRay here, and I'm your host for this evening. Last episode, we found out that the Tsundere Tyrant, along with some of the other characters, got drunk, and little Miss Tsundere here was swimming in a puddle of sake. That's always fun. And trust me, I've tried sake before. It is strong. I'm not looking forward to drinking sake ever again, honestly. Okay, back to the story. Instead, an attractive-looking girl wearing a simple towel had decided to take a seat in the hot water. Mio-san. Whether it was a result of drinking or not, the warm smile she showed me caused me to pause. Care to join me? I don't think... get in the water. Yes, ma'am. I quickly moved closer to water, nearly slipping on the wet towels before I made my way in. I folded up my robe, but kept the towel I had found around my waist. Today, been pretty busy, huh? Though, the last thing I expected was for all of you to gulp down sake like baby drinks its milk. The girl said nothing for a while, regarding me with a faint grin on her face. It made me nervous. I would almost rather have her shouting and angry. You don't slack off, do you? I can tell you train a lot. Huh? Briefly caught off guard by her comment, I quickly gathered my thoughts and nodded in return. Well, I practice judo, so it's natural for me to train my body a lot. I'm sure the same can be said for you, Mio-san. I mean, you look rather feminine, but I could tell you knew a lot how to handle a sword. That's how diligent and that shows diligence and talent, but above all, experience. You started young, didn't you? I did. She leaned back against the rocks and let out a sigh. It took me a long time to become competent with the blade. Days and nights of endless training, regardless of wind and weather, all in order to toughen myself up, to make myself strong enough. It is horrible knowing nothing of your early life. I just turned up here in rags. The guards found me out in the woods one day, while I'm on patrol, starving and dirty. My previous elder took pity on me and took me in. Everything went well for a while. Narumi's family took me in, treated me like one of their own. Then everything fell apart. Seeing the village that had taken me in, fed me, clothed me, given me shelter, suffering at the hands of the spirits, I couldn't take it. As she spoke, she let out another sigh. It seemed the alcohol was making her a bit more talkative than usual, which wasn't a bad thing. I just hoped I wouldn't end up paying for it once she sobered up. After that, I felt like I had to do something. I couldn't just sit by while everything fell apart around me. The village was devastated by the fires. On that day, I pleaded with the former chief of guard to train me, to make me stronger. I wanted to protect the village, to protect Narumi at all cost. He eventually agreed, but told me that I would need to strengthen my resolve first. And that's why you became you can say it, a Tsundere Tyrant? I don't know what Tsundere means, but the tyrant part isn't far off. I didn't want to drive everyone away, least of all Narumi. But I had to, in order to not feel the pain of loss again. Spirits haven't been our only problem. Bandits, beasts, and the weather. The village needed protecting from all of it. It became a purpose, and it made me distant myself from everyone else. I guess that explains why you've been acting like that around Michiko and Maiko. That's right. Although I'm beginning to think that perhaps we can coexist. The fox spirits, at least. I suppose this has something to do with you. So, thank you. You're welcome. It's not like I did much. I mean it. Truly. You and the sisters, you have saved my life from living in fear. Perhaps even prevented my death. I think you better tell them that. You're right, especially considering what comes next. What do you mean? The girl's words were becoming incoherent, muttering something about spirits in the village. It seems like fatigue has finally taken its toll. Well, the other spirits probably won't be leaving this village alone anytime soon. We're going to have to figure out how to stop them. But asking Mako and Michiko to help us is like asking you to turn on Narumi-chan. Turn on. The girl giggled at this for quite some time, so I let out a sigh and coughed politely. What I meant was they'll have to fight against their own kind at some point. I mean, why would they want to help you guys out in the first place? I think you and Narumi will be the pieces we need to solve this problem. And we need to figure out what to do soon. I doubt the spirits will hold back next time. You sound like it's some kind of game. That's not nice. As she said that, the girl slid further down into the water. It's a bit easier to think of it like that. The moment they get ahead of us, it's game over. If you and Narumi-chan fix things between the villagers and the sisters, things might work out. You'll have to get close to them as possible. I don't like girls like that. You gotta love drunkards, honestly. The girl became incredibly flustered by my comment, having mistaken what I had said. Before I could explain, she slumped over, her cheeks in a deep crimson red. As I tried to move closer, it became clear that she passed out and the heat had probably gotten to her. Just my luck. She had to pass out, wearing nothing but a towel. I swear, someone up there is testing my patience with all these temptations. No kidding. Sighing in annoyance, I carefully wrapped my arms around the girl and pulled her out of the water. Realizing that leaving Mio would be a bad idea, I thought about what to do when Narumi came barging in. Takeru-kun, I heard you were in here. I managed to... Whoa! What's going on here? It's not what you think. The great captain couldn't handle the heat. Could you take her over here? Yeah, sure. That's what happened. I believe you, stud. Come on. I'll take her. I'll make sure she gets a good night's sleep. But if you did do stuff to her while she was drunk, she's gonna kick your ass. I shall refrain from provoking her wrath. The last thing I need is a hungover samurai trying to turn me into shish kebab. Shish kebab. Nah, it's shish kebab. I motioned for Narumi to come over. You should get some rest too, Takeru-kun. And make sure you keep an eye on Chi-chan. She's a little restless right now. Leave her to me. She'll be in good hands. And with those words, I left Narumi to take care of the passed out captain. I quickly changed into the robes I had borrowed and made my way to the main hall. As expected, I found Michiko curled up on the floor. Thankfully, it looked like she made her way to Mako and was cuddled up next to her. The two girls looked adorable, and their cute mumbling only made it all the more enjoyable to watch. I considered waking them up so we could return to the mansion, but the sound of my name interrupted my train of thoughts. Walking out into the garden beyond the room, into the wooden deck, I found the village elder sitting on the grass looking up at the stars. Young man, are the stars here as beautiful as in your world? Oh, he's drunk still. I walked over to him and laid down flat against the grass, finally allowing myself a rest. I looked up at the night sky and smiled. You know, I never really got a good look at them. I'm always busy with this or that. I yawned loudly and felt my eyelids getting heavy as I wiggled around a bit in an effort to get comfortable. Perhaps you should, if you get back, that is. The previous elder once told me that all the worlds shared the same sky. It sounded silly to me, but maybe there's something to it. I mean, it does look similar. Sparkly and black. Maybe he's right. The elder remained silent for a while. When he spoke again, I could barely make out what he said. Sleepiness taking over. Before long, I drifted off to sleep beneath that starry sky. How long do you think he's been out? Must have been a while. His clothes are soaked with morning dew. As I drifted back into consciousness, I heard Narumi and Miyu talking nearby. Their voices sounded hushed as though they were far away. I briefly considered jumping up and scaring them, but my body was not going to let me. Maybe you should poke him? Hikage, there's no need for that. Tokiro, son, wake up, you lazy slob. Alright, so lords and ladies, that's going to be the end of this episode. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, a rating would be appreciated. If you have not subscribed, come on and come subscribe. Join the family. Bye-bye now and enjoy.